It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and where else would I be but here with you? DJ Stutz here with Little Hearts Academy, USA. Just a second, trying to push a button. Oh well, guess it doesn't matter. Today I am talking about finding some answers for that seemingly eternal fight with homework. And it starts early sometimes, and sometimes your littlest guys are excited to have homework, especially if they have older children or older siblings, who are also excited, or not excited, but doing homework. And they want to be like their older siblings. But it fades fairly quickly. But here's some things that we can talk about. This week's episode is with Aimee Buckley, and she is a teacher from Northern California. And she has actually started a company called Study Help. And, sorry, having a day. Anyway, she has started a company where she can connect children with tutors. And it's not just some random assignment. You sign up, yeah, I need a tutor in this subject. She actually talks to you, asks questions, gets to know what your child's strengths are, where room for improvement is, what is the focus. Are they a high energy kid? Are they a low energy kid? Are they more introverted? Because she's got teachers that can work with all of those. And then she specifically makes that connection between your student, your child, and the right tutor or mentor. And so listen to that podcast episode. It's really a fun one. She does a great job in explaining things. And we talked also about some of the things that you can do to help your child and then know when you need to ask for help. So one of the things that you can do is realize how long it is appropriate for your child to be spending on homework. So for kindergarten, they should have very little homework. And in fact, when I've been teaching when I've been teaching kindergarten, the homework that I sent home, honestly, was more so that the parents would know what we were working on in class. And I made it something that they did with their parent or with a sibling, with an adult, but it was building relationships as they worked on whatever it was, whether it was a writing or social studies, taking a walk around the block and finding how many times you can find the number 8, those kinds of things, so that not only were they gaining extra exposure to whatever it is that we were learning, but they were also having that ability to build on the relationship with whomever was working on things. Maybe doing a graph on their family and how many boys, how many girls, how many aunts, how many uncles, all those kinds of things that would help them build. So if your kindergartner is coming home with homework that is more than that, I would question it. I would ask for the purpose of it. There are a lot of studies that show that homework at this age doesn't count for anything. And so actually, one of the things that you might find out is that it's required by the district, or it's required by the principal at the school. They want to see all of this coming in. And so if you can find some of those things out, and maybe the teacher doesn't really have a say, they've got to send something home. And so, and I've been in that circumstance, and that's when I started developing my homework packets that were relationship based. And so it would be reading with your child. And that's very typical for kindergarten age. And so you can, but that's a great time to help you. They don't have to do that until bedtime, right? Right? And so you're reading a nighttime story together. So those kind of things I think are appropriate, but really they need to get outside and play. First grade, they're going to start having maybe to study for a spelling test or remembering certain things. They're starting to learn about states and our country, and so you might get some things with that, some homework, and that is just generally a repetition so that they again have more opportunities to use whatever it is that they learned in class. A really great teacher will find ways to make that interactive instead of just a worksheet that you sent home. So hi Raylene. And so watch for those kind of things. But in first grade, they shouldn't have to spend, honestly, any more than 5 or 10 minutes. That's going to be their boundary for that. And then they can spend a little more time. It'll get longer incrementally as they get older. So now that you might have a realistic expectation of what your child should be doing and how long it should be taking them. And if you're uncertain, it's certainly okay to, a lot of teachers have an email that you can just email them and say, hey, how long are you expecting them to take? Because Joey's now at the 20-minute mark and very frustrated. Correct? Hi. And so it's okay to ask your teacher those questions, and they should have an answer for you and what their expectation is. And so that's something that you can do. And if you see your child getting frustrated, it's okay to stop and take a break. It's like, yeah, I can see that you need a break. And so maybe they need to eat, or hey, go. My dog. So maybe they need to eat, maybe they need to go outside and play, maybe they need to take a nap. I've talked before a little bit about my middle daughter, Rocky, who had to nap all the way through the end of first grade. So if she came home and I sat her down to start homework, she'd fall asleep at the table. Or if I said, go outside and play, I'd find her curled up in a chair on the patio or something and asleep. So we realized that what she needed was to have an hour nap after she got home from school, and then she could go outside and play for some time, and then we could do homework after that. So get to know your child and what their needs are, but I'll guarantee you that if they're among our little guys, and remember, we're looking at, up to second, maybe third grade in the advice that we give here. But if that's taking too long or it seems too in depth, I would get some clarification from the teacher, because it really shouldn't take that long. It's really important for us to get our kids outside and playing. And so I don't know, I might even consider, because I know a lot of kids like having their screen time, and that's a way that a lot of kids will kind of relax and calm down to some point. There's a lot of studies that show that it really does fire off different things in the brain, and that might make it harder for them to sleep at night. But I would try to make sure that they're getting outside every day. I mean, unless it's, blizzarding and 10 degrees. But even then, they might be willing to put on their snowsuits and go outside. The kids don't mind the cold nearly as much as we do. And so, sorry. So get them outside and get them going. And I remember, when I was a kid, things were very different. I understand that. But I grew up in Los Angeles, and, there's some exciting things going on even back then. But I had my brothers, and we'd get home, change out of your school clothes, because I had to wear a dress every day until I was in junior high. Then they changed it, but I had to wear a dress every day. So I'd come home, we'd have to change out of our school clothes, get on our play clothes. I don't know, Raylene, do you remember that happening when you were a kid? So and then we would go out and play. And we did, and we ran the neighborhood, and we had our friends, and if it was hot, we were running in sprinklers, and we were building things, and we'd get on our bikes and ride around, and all the neighborhood kids knew each other. Well, I think that they still need time outside. And so depending on the neighborhood that Raylene says she remembers that time. So they still need that time. And so depending on the safety of your neighborhood, you might be able to let them go outside and play. I live in a place, we've got like a path that goes behind our house, and then there's a cul-de-sac that's behind it. And so I can see out for a ways, and there's always kids playing in that cul-de-sac right behind us. And so that would be a perfect spot for the kids to go and be able to play, and they're playing basketball, and they're on their skateboards and doing all kinds of fun things. And that's what they need to do before they sit down to do any homework at all. They need to have that body. It gets oxygen to the brain, and it really does inspire their brains to be able to concentrate more and to retain what they're learning. They need that time. So that's one of the hacks that you can do. Another thing is to have a set place that they do homework every day. And so it might be at the kitchen table, or maybe you've got like an island or a counter in the kitchen. And so maybe while you're doing stuff, then they can sit there and do their homework while you're in there maybe making dinner. And so you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. But you want to have a set place, though, that they know every day, this is my place that I do homework. And sometimes if the kitchen is like too busy or too much, then you might choose another room that's more quiet. But we don't want any screens on in there unless they're at the point where they're having to do some research. Kindergartners aren't going to be doing research there, but they will get to a point. And so you want to make sure that they're staying on track, and then say, okay, I only am going to let you work on your homework for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm going to set the timer, and then I'm going to come in. I'm going to see how far you are, and you're going to take a break. So maybe they need to go get a glass of water. It doesn't have to be a long break. Go to the bathroom, or maybe just have an impromptu dance party, and do something crazy and fun with you. But that can be a short break, and then they can go back in if they need to. And so you're there. You want to be available to them if they have questions, but let them try to do some of it on their own. So I would read the instructions, especially with our kindies, our first graders, and say, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what the teacher said. Do you know what that means? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing? And hopefully it's something that's going to be more interactive. So maybe it is that, going for a walk around the block and seeing how many 8s that you can find. So you're looking at addresses on the houses. You're looking at license plates in the cars. Hey, Caroline. And so those are great homework assignments, and it kind of gets that outside piece done as well. And so I hope you're getting assignments like that. But if it's something that they're working on, and you have a first grader and he's working, or she is working for a half an hour on math problems, cut it off. You're done. Yep, you're done. And that's enough. Then I'm going to have a conversation with my teacher and say, Susie is really struggling. She's really struggled with that math. We didn't get it done. Things were getting frustrated. So what do we need to support her in understanding these concepts? And then your teacher can have a conversation with you on that. And really, teachers, I would say 90% of all teachers are thrilled to have those kind of conversations with parents. And it's not like you're mad at them. Please don't be mad at them. They try so hard. But you're just getting information and saying, all right, so are you noticing that Susie is struggling in class with the math because she really struggled at home? So is this something I need to worry about? Do you think it was a one-off? Is she getting it in class? So you can find out those things. And when you have more information about what needs to be done, then you're better able to support them in their homework time. And one of the things that I thought was important, and of course, she has the tutoring company, and so she works with that. But I really believe that she is on the right track, that when things start getting really frustrated and you're like, blah, right? And the kids are blah, and they're angry and they're just upset and so they're so busy being mad that they're not even trying with their homework, because the angry part is taking up so much of what is going on inside of them. So it's time to get some help. And there are a ton of, in fact, you could call your school and see if is there a homework club? Are there any teachers that are taking on tutoring students? There's, of course, you've got YouTube that will explain pretty much anything. But if it's hurting the relationship between you and your child, it might be time to get someone else. Maybe there's a student in class that's really good, and we can have homework dates. And so maybe that's something that you can do. But here's something that she brought up, and I thought it was really good. She only hires licensed teachers, and she's got programs from kindergarten up through senior in high school. So she does cover all those grades with her program. But if it's hurting your relationship, it's worth it to find someone to do. Now, I know her costs are, I think she said $45 an hour or $50 an hour. Might be 50. But I happen to have 4 gift cards for $100. So if anyone wanted to contact me and say you're interested in one of those gift cards, I'd be more than happy. And that would give you 2 sessions. You'd be able to kind of get a feel of, oh, is this something that worked? A teacher in a classroom, depending on the grade, a kindergarten teacher could have anywhere from 20 to 35 kids in their class. And it's the same thing, and they can actually get larger as they go up in age. So think of a teacher trying to, sorry, I was looking at a comment about how in Houston they do research in school, and that's good, but you want to make sure that if they're online, they're doing the research and not playing games. Just a thing. But anyway, so a teacher has a ton of kids, and you've got some learners that are kinesthetic learners, some are visual learners, some are auditory learners. There's 7 different styles of learning, and really you can only hit about 2 or 3 of them in a classroom at a time. And so you might have a kid that is, and it's not the teacher's fault, there's just so many dang kids in the classroom that it's hard for them to get that individual attention that they need. And, you've got to move on. They've got that, keep them going. It's like, let's let them master it and then let's move on. But that's a whole nother school model that I believe in. Anyway, if you have a tutor and you have a licensed teacher that's a tutor, they're getting one-on-one for a whole hour. I will tell you that one-on-one for that long, they are probably going to get at least a half a day's worth of school of knowledge in that 1 hour. And so maybe if you need someone that's once a week or twice a week or, twice a month, whatever it is, then you'll be able to help your child. And sometimes you'll want to listen in. As they get older, they're going to kind of, I got this, right? So, but when they're little, I think it's a great idea, because then you're seeing what they're doing with your child that's maybe connecting with them and what are the ways, and that's information you can even pass on to their teacher. Oh, they have this tutor and he did this and this and she really responded to it. And so maybe you can pass that information on to a teacher. But so that's another thing that you can make sure that you're not hurting the relationship with homework. And so I think that's really a lot of the great ideas. We went into a lot of things so much deeper. As you can hear, I've got a little thing going on right now. I think since I had COVID, I've just not completely gotten better. I wasn't ever deathly ill. You know, I was sick like a bad cold, but it's just been lingering on. It's been almost a month now, but we'll get there. So thank you for watching. And I love my listeners that come in almost every week, and I count on you, and I hope that this is information that is helpful to you and that you're able to take it and use it in your home. And if there's anything else that you're interested in finding out about, let me know. Now, my episode that's coming down next Monday is about picky eaters. Jessica Setnick. And, oh, she's so much fun to listen to. It was a lot of fun. We really connected, and we've spoken back and forth even before and since. And so we're having a lot of fun with that. But I love the way that she talks about not only picky eaters, the kids you can't get to eat, but those kids who eat maybe a little too much or a lot of the wrong things, and how you deal with that as well. So she is a specialist. She's a nutritionist with 25 years of experience, and she is a specialist in eating disorders. So whether it's too little or too much or totally the wrong stuff, we went into that. And so that's next Monday. So I hope you'll listen to that. And I just want to thank everyone who's been listening to the podcast. I'm getting a few more every month. And in fact, last month, I put out a thing. I was only 2 away from reaching my previous record of downloads. And I just said, I just need 2 more. Can my friends help me? Well, I beat it by almost 100. Almost 100 people went in and helped out. And gosh, you just don't know what that means to me and how it helps me grow my program. So click on, leave a rating, click and leave a review, follow me, you hit that follow button. All of those things help with other people trying to find me and deciding whether a podcast is good or not. So anyway, thank you for coming in, and I see names of people I know and people I care about deeply, and I hope you guys all know how much that means to me that you're here with me. So anyway, until next week, let's find joy in parenting. Good night, everyone.